So before we get into the demos, I want to highlight the three things we're going to see. Firstly, it's how easy it is to install the filter driver on an existing vSphere cluster. Secondly, it's how using vSphere tags will drive us towards using a policy-based approach to protecting workloads. And finally, we're going to see how CDP protects tier 1 workloads with low RPOs. Let's get to the demo. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to show you guys in this demo is what it looks like when you install the filter drivers. So once you've deployed and configured a vCenter, right-click on Manage I/O Filters, and let's have a look and see where you can configure it. So basically, it is this checkbox here. So as you can see, I have this cluster S01 checked, which means if a host is taken in or out of the cluster, the filter drivers are added or removed. Once we've got the filter drivers added and we've got a source and a target vCenter configured, now we can go to the policies. And what you can see here is I've got two policies configured, and you can see that they're in a syncing state. So if I right click on the policies, we'll see that we've got this set for configuration with vSphere tags. So once we get into the virtual machine part, and what I'm quickly going to highlight here is how we can leverage vSphere tags to configure CDP jobs to run automatically as VMs are added to your cluster. So let's go to the source vSphere cluster. And we can see here that we've got this WinT1 application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add the tag to this machine. It's currently got no tag assigned. Let's go in and add the RPO 15 seconds, which is actually tied to that RPO policy that you saw before. Let's assign that. Let's go back to Veeam backup and replication. And what we'll see, hopefully very quickly, is that that VM will be added to this particular policy. So once that kicks in, there we go. So you can see that we're doing an initial sync. So let's quickly go back to the target vCenter. And what we'll see here is the creation of the replica VM on the target side. So let's give that a couple of seconds to pop up. There we go, things are happening, it's registering the machine, and there we go. So it's starting that initial sync. So that is a great example of the power of vSphere tags and how easy it is to use in conjunction with CDP policies to replicate your VMs with really low RPOs. So the final thing that I want to show is a practical example of this in play, okay? So when we're talking about CDP, we're really talking about driving low RPOs, getting data from one workload to another, from the source to the target really quickly. So what I've actually got set up is this machine here, and this machine is called Databank 01. And this VM houses an application which is effectively like an on-premises Dropbox or OneDrive. Now, this company, Aperture Labs, has dictated that we don't want to take data outside of the network, so we need to use this application to sync data through. So to quickly show the power of CDP, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate a failure of this VM and then bring it up on the replica side. But before that, let's see how quickly data goes across it based on that RPO of 15 seconds that we set in the policy. So let's bring up a couple of folders here. What I'm going to do is this is a local folder, so it's a documents. We've got this own cloud application, which effectively is using to sync data between my workstation and that Databank 01 server, which is under that policy. So let's copy a couple of files here. Let's copy that one up. Let's give it a bit of time to copy through and let it sync. So here we go. Okay, so we're uploading that file to the server. What we should actually start seeing if we go back to Veeam backup and replication, and if we go to the running tasks and that databank VM, is we should start to see a kick in the traffic here once that 15-second interval has passed. So we're copying up the data, waiting for the interval to kick in. We should see an uptick in traffic. There we go, very good. So what that is showing within that 15-second period, that file has been copied to the VM. We've then replicated that data from the source to the target. Okay, that's awesome. So now what we want to do is just let that finish replicating just to make sure we've captured that file. There we go, a little bit more of a bump. We'll wait another 15 seconds just to make sure that we've captured that. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to simulate the failure of that VM. I'm going to bring it up on the target side, knowing that we've protected under that 15-second policy. So let's have a look and see here. The application is running here. We've got a ping going to it. We've even got a web application here. So let's refresh that to make sure the file is up there that we copied. There it is. Okay, let's go back to the source vCenter and let's simulate the failure. So let's power that off. Okay, let's make sure that we lose the ping firstly just to make sure that it is out. There we go. And let's refresh the web application just to make sure that it is actually offline as well. All right, there we go. So the application is down. Now let's go back to Veeam Backup and Replication. Let's go to our replicas and let's fail over that VM now. So what we can see here, we've got the VM. Let's choose a point in time. We can go to latest crash consistent state, but let's go to a point in time here and let's granularly go back to, let's go back here. So we're not going too far because we want to make sure we captured those files that we copied. And let's bring up the replica from 423 and 15 seconds. You can see as we go through here, the interval that we're getting is every 15 seconds because that is what the policy is. Let's hit OK here and let's start the process of the failover. Let's finish that. Okay, we're starting the failover process. Let's launch the vCenter here. So what we should see in a couple of seconds is that machine powering on, and we should start to get a ping response when that machine comes up. So let's give that a couple of seconds to start the process. And there we go, the machine is powered on. So this shouldn't take too long to start up on the target side. We should see the ping start to come into play. We should get connectivity back to the sync application, and then we will be able to continue as possible. So there you go. So we've got the ping. Let's wait for the connection to come back in the application to make sure that we're good. There we go. Sync activity is happening. Let's go and refresh the web to make sure the file is there. And there we go. So everything is back up as expected now. We're running on the target end. And that's a really, really quick but powerful example of the power of CDP working on a really, really low RPO, 15 seconds in this case, protecting this enterprise application.